cooking is really just a genuine expression of kindness. And I learned that at an early age that it's really about giving people what they want so they take what you have to give. My name is Todd Richards. I am a chef by profession. I'm a father by happiness. I am a cool guy that loves music and eats a lot of barbecue. I actually grew up in Chicago. I moved to Atlanta about 1992. I was transferring to Georgia Tech. What most people don't know is I was a physics major, and I was so bored with college and really got into food by happenstance. I needed a job and walked into Kroger, and they asked me could I work in the meat department. Well, because I grew up in a barbecue family, I was very comfortable in that environment. And fortunately, there was a restaurant across the street that needed someone to work the grill at night. And I found myself in a position where I can actually be creative, but also feed that scientific mind, understanding the anatomy of animals and things like that. And from that point, I really never looked back. I went to what's now the Four Seasons Hotel, 2 Ritz-Carltons, I ran a 5-diamond restaurant, opened #1 rated airport restaurant in the world, One Flew South, had 2 prior barbecue restaurants. I can tell everyone 100% that fine dining is something that's in my brain, but barbecue and smoked meats is definitely in my soul. Picture of February and March is pretty unique to have a entire city talking about, the amount of call outs. We don't know why. And the next thing we know, we look up in March, we are in full pandemic mode. And then I unfortunately got COVID, and I can tell anyone succinctly that I do not wish that on anyone. I was walking in a grocery store, and I did not know if I was going to make it home. And the only way I can equate it is like laying on the ground and someone standing on your back. And from that time on March 30th to May 7th, I did not leave my house. I could not taste anything, I could not smell anything. And then people also know me as a DJ and a musician, and I had ringing in my ears. And here it is for me, a person who uses all my senses in order to create a living for my family. And not only that, as a head of a company, I have so many lives that I'm affecting if I'm ill or if I were to perish.
Todd, he was fighting for his life. It took him out to where he couldn't even pick up the telephone or even really talk to anyone. He was having severe migraines. It was hard.
I was sick for a while, but work is always part of who I am. It's in my DNA. And the opportunity to open another restaurant of my own was something that I always wanted to do.
I can never forget that day. It was the beginning of May. And Todd, he gave me a call and said, look, you got 20,000? I said, yeah, I have about 20 grand in the bank. And from there, he said, well, you get up and I want you to go drive by this address. Honestly, I got to the corner and I looked and ultimately knew that this would be our next venture together.
Chef Josh is probably one of the most brilliant chefs that I know, and I really like working with brilliant chefs who care but also know the numbers, because if the restaurant's not profitable, we cannot necessarily keep the restaurant open. He's an Atlanta native, and to meet someone from this area really ties us back into the neighborhood. The restaurant we opened is Lake Oak Neighborhood Barbecue. The lake comes from East Lake. We're in the East Lake neighborhood, and the oak comes from the Oakhurst neighborhood, which is really unique to have a restaurant sitting directly smack in the middle of 2 different distinct neighborhoods.
We opened 4th of July weekend. I won't never forget
opening a barbecue restaurant on probably the single most busiest weekend in barbecue lore was a little bit crazy. We sold out in an hour and a half. We opened the next day and sold out again in 2 hours. The emotions for opening were pretty much all over the place because we funded the restaurant ourselves. We also are thinking about living wage for our employees.
It's an honor to honestly put something back in a neighborhood where I can remember as a child I could not walk down these same streets. You know, and to now own something on these same streets, I'm more ecstatic, more excited to want to wake up and get here and want to open this restaurant and to continue to push forward and strive for each and every other boy and girl that looks like me.
We are post-election 2021, and it's a little bit, disheartening to see your friends close their restaurants, lay off employees, and try to figure out, how to pay off debt at the same time.
Has it been a trying time in the midst of COVID of keeping this place open and keeping it running and making sure that we're following everything by the steps and the rules? Absolutely. It's an everyday challenge, you know.
Do some rice. Being one of those people that they call us long haulers was really unique in a sense because I'm a healthy guy. I work out 3-4 times a week. I feel old as shit when I take all these goddamn vitamins every day. I became anemic, which I was never anemic before. I also became B vitamin deficient, D vitamin deficient, and then I take liquid B12 every single day. It's an unfortunate thing, but. And you can imagine opening a restaurant, operating a restaurant all that time with still lingering effects of COVID on top of it. You always have to have this type of perseverance in order to survive. If you don't have it, you just won't make it in this business. Being a chef is really one of the greatest things you can do in life. It has a little bit of insanity in it. We have to balance out that kind of insanity with other purposes, and one of those purposes is watching the staff and make sure that they are well taken care of.
For me to come back in the midst of hard times and not only give my neighborhood something back, but I'm able to employ other people and give them work while others are shutting the doors and saying no. I'm really proud of a gentleman that we have working here. He was our very first employee. You don't really run across people of jack of all trades like that. You know, one of his favorite mottos is, I just want to sell food. I want to make the people happy and sell food. But it's phenomenal watching the transition of him. He has bank accounts. He bought a vehicle last week. And that's a huge stepping stone.
We just opened Lake Oak Neighborhood Barbecue, and we can offer 401k to our employees. And that is the first step in really creating a successful restaurant group. In order to make sure that our restaurant is the best, the guests have to understand that the employees, for me, have to come first. You can make millions of dollars in restaurants, but that's never how a legacy of a chef is created. A legacy of a chef is created by the people that actually worked under them, and what did they go out and do? Did they open up more restaurants? Did they change the communities? Those things really create the legacy of the chef that they came from. And that's how we spread the knowledge and the wealth of giving back to the community in the restaurant business.